In the old days, 40 or 50 years back, they dried the cherries, soaked them, and pickled them, and made jam of them. And then we'd send the dried cherries off in carts to Moscow and Kharkov. And money. And the dried cherries were soft, juicy, sweet, and nicely scented. They knew the way. To look at the walls and the windows for the last time, my dead mother used to like to walk about this room. My dear nursery, oh, you beautiful room. I used to sleep here when I was a baby. Once upon a time, you and I used both to sleep in this room, and now I'm 51. It does seem strange. We're behind by 200 years. We've learnt nothing yet. We can't even assess the past. We just philosophize, complain of ennui, and drink vodka. To live in the present, we must first redeem our past, atone for it. We can do that only by suffering and work, relentless work. I'll lie down. You've no strength left in you, nothing left at all. Oh, you bungler! High above the city, on a tall column, stood the statue of the Happy Prince. He was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold. For eyes, he had 2 bright sapphires, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword hilt. He was very much admired indeed. One night there flew over the city a little swallow. His friends had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind, for he was in love with the most beautiful reed. After they had gone, he felt lonely and began to tire of his lady-love. "Will you come away with me?" he said finally to her. But the reed shook her head. She was so attached to her home. "You have been trifling with me," he cried. "I'm off to the pyramids. Goodbye." And he flew away. All day long he flew, and at night time he arrived at the city. Then he saw the statue on the tall column. "I will put up there," he cried. "It is a fine position, with plenty of fresh air." "Who are you?" he said. "I am the Happy Prince." "Why are you weeping then?" asked the swallow. "You have quite drenched me." "When I was alive and had a human heart," answered the statue, "I did not know what tears were for I lived in the palace of Sans Souci, where sorrow is not allowed to enter. Round the garden ran a very lofty wall, but I never cared to ask what lay beyond it. Everything about me was so beautiful. My courtiers called me the Happy Prince, and happy indeed I was, if pleasure be happiness. So I lived, and so I died. And now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see all the ugliness and all the misery of my city, and though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but weep." "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "will you not stay with me for one night and be my messenger?" The Happy Prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. "It's very cold here," he said, "but I will stay with you for one night and be your messenger." The swallow flew back to the Happy Prince and told him what he had done. "It is curious," he remarked, "but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold." "That is because you have done a good action," said the prince.